All right, guys, we're in the throes of the Tea Party Titan event, and CVC is going on at the same time. I'm thinking about starting a series where we just kind of do a check-in on my account, just finger on the pulse, let you guys know what I'm progressing in, because to be honest with you guys, I am level 100, but if you look at my player power right there, it's not particularly high, and I do feel like that my account kind of represents a little bit of an everyman account. I know a lot of people who aren't content creators who, as far as I know, haven't spent tens of thousands on the game, and they're significantly more advanced than me. Part of that has to do with my break, but basically I thought starting a kind of series where I just go over what I'm working through on my account might be helpful for some people to kind of just ground it into like the average raid player experience who's trying to push from the late into the end game without necessarily having spent, and probably not in the foreseeable future spending, very much money. So basically a low spend account that's well embedded in the late game, proceeding to the end game the best that I can, and taking you guys along for the ride. So anyway, let me know in the comments below if you think that's a good idea, but for now, we're shooting the first video. All right, so first things first, make sure guys, if you're going for it, that you're keeping up with the events because they hit you with a lot, rapid fire. We got a couple days left on the Lunar Deck of Fate, and we got a day and a half. I mean, it depends. That 8 hours is going to be a lot of me sleeping for my time zone. But we got these two events going on. That's it, the Lunar Deck of Fate and the Dungeon Divers. But Dungeon Divers, especially if you're able to farm dungeons with food champions, will get you points for these events and get you points for CVC. And if you're at a high level in the dungeon, it'll get you damn good points for CVC. And then for tournaments, we have ended the Ice Golem. And if you watched my previous video, I said that I was deciding how I was going to run it, and I just sent it and gemmed a bunch of energy. I think I ran the trio team so that it was a little bit faster, and I actually got overkill. I believe it was 4,700 to get to this top reward. I was like, screw it, I may as well. I need the silver badly. Don't know if I got any good gear because I haven't checked it yet, but I actually overshot it by almost 350 points. So it is what it is, but I'll definitely take the silver and the XP since I ran it with some food champions. But actually, wait, I think I ended up opting at the very end, at the end of the night. I was like, okay, I want to get through to the rewards for teacup points, and to do that, I was running out of time, and I have trauma from running Ice Golem overnight now, and the game canceling my runs on me. So I was like, let me go ahead and do my full team and get that shit done so that I hit the teacup points. And then once I did that, I had the calculation for my average points based on that team. And since it's a turn attack, I felt like, geez, if I drop my other champions out to put food in, it's going to really raise my turns, and then that's going to lower the points. I don't know how to average that. So I ended up running the last bit of it to get probably the second half or second 2/3 of the event with just a full team because it was faster. I did run Ice Golem 20 though, because I just wanted to get through it quickly and go ahead and get the points, and I don't have anything currently that works on hard. And to me, since it was mostly for tournament points, 25 wasn't worth it and probably was slower, and I think might be the wrong affinity, at least for Dark Kael. But anyway, enough of that. There now is a dragon tournament, same thing as a turn attack, and I'm working on that, just creeping through it pretty slowly, running my duo with food. Again, I'll probably run into the same situation where if I start running out of time, I'll just put a full team in, but this one's not too bad, and I'm almost halfway there. I may go for the top because this dust, so Chaos Dust is a good reward. The most important thing is to get the teacup points. Past that, I don't care. Like, I wouldn't feel bad if I missed these rewards. One ancient, it's always good to get good, free shards, but I'm not pressed about that at all. Would only care to get the ancient on the way to get the Chaos Dust, but Chaos Dust is good, and you kind of can never have enough of it. So then in 9 hours, we're going to have the Queen's Fury tournament. If you don't have a team, I don't know if I'll be able to put a video together because I'm going to have to do some reworking on mine, and I don't really want to release like a really long video on it, so I'm trying to think how I would film that. I may just end up trying to get a team going and then give you guys a quick overview of what I did, so that at least if you have similar champions, you could be able to potentially do something similar. I don't know that I'll be able to go through and like work out multiple comps and stuff like that. To be honest with you, even if I had the time IRL, I just do not have the silver. So that's kind of where we're at right now for the Titan event. We don't have anything other than the Queen's Fury tournament in the tournaments that's upcoming that we can see yet. So yeah, just make sure that you get the dragon stuff done. That's an easy dungeon though. Easy, I know it's relative, but for a lot of accounts it's easy. And then the Queen's Fury tournament is probably pretty hard for a lot of people, at least in the higher levels. But like I said, hopefully I can get together a team that works at least on level 25, 100%, ideally level 30. But I don't know if I'll be able to sustain the stat requirements for that on a team. We'll see. But I'll try to do an overview on that so that you guys can at least get something in regards to that if you're really struggling to farm that dungeon. Besides that, what I think I'm going to do, and this is kind of a CVC thing, at least I'm glad that it's overlapping CVC, is I'm planning on getting probably my very next champion leveled up as the Hatter. Now, I tend to overanalyze where I put books. I don't think that he's going to be immediately usable unless I book him, so I'm 99.9% sure that he's about to get my books. And it's funny because I actually have the exact number at the time of recording, the exact number of legendary books that he needs to fully book him out. I don't know if he needs all his books on the A1. It does significantly increase his chance of stealing a random buff, and because I have what I would call a mid-tier late game Hydra team that's kind of a little bit outdated and needs some reworking, I do end up often needing somebody who can steal random buffs, off of usually the Head of Suffering when he gets that reflect damage and just starts beating the hell out of my enemy max HP nukers. So that one is actually pretty good book value, I feel like. Don't really care about the damage. I don't actually know if he does much damage just from his multipliers, but this extra 25% chance to both of these things makes it a 50% chance to steal a buff and a 100% chance for debuff spread. That's pretty useful. So he's got good book value, I think. Anyway, you can see I have 11 books here. I believe he needs 11 books in his skills. So I'm thinking that I will rank him up, get the CVC points, because you get pretty decent CVC points for that, and I might actually just brew his XP up to level 60 or close to it. Then I'll decide if I almost never gem masteries. Trying to decide if I'm kind of shooting myself in the foot to keep going through minnow for masteries. I believe it works out to be about 650, which for a person that doesn't really ever buy gem packs except the daily for $10, which you should buy unless you're free to play, I don't really want to spend 150 extra gems because it averages out to 650 if you buy the energy, just outright buy all the energy you need for it. I think if I remember correctly, it's about 2250 energy, give or take a little bit, right? Because it averages out, but it's not a perfect number. Getting that much energy from having 0 energy, I believe, and you could at least start with 130, right? But from 0 energy, I believe it's 650 or so gems. So that adds up over time, obviously. If you have, 4 times that you run champions through that way, you've saved enough gems, pretty much, if I'm doing that math quickly in my head and I'm correct, you end up with basically another set of masteries gemming the energy. So anyway, that's my thoughts on that. But I need to get Hatter ranked up, almost definitely get him booked, and then get him masteries. And then the next person that I want to do, and I'm kind of just touching on these because I'm going to follow up later once I have them in gear and ready to go, is He-Man. I'm very excited about He-Man. I kind of held off for a bit, but I think he's going to be a really good fit for me as I'm genuinely trying to push in live arena, and I'm struggling for nukers right now. Like, I really just don't have great gear for attack-based nukers, but then on top of that fact, they kind of necessitate, at least for me, with the gear I'm working with, they necessitate me bringing an increased attack champion with them. And then obviously if I only bring one, and that's usually going to be Arbiter because she's currently my fastest champion, has a good speed aura for arena, then they're probably going to ban her at least half the time. I feel like it's more than that, and then I'm out of luck. So I have to bring 2, and it really limits my team comps. I could get a lot more creative and scrappy if I had an HP nuker that I don't have to worry about buffing, at least not buffing them to do more damage. So that's very appealing to me, and currently he, I think, would be by a large margin the best HP nuker that I have on the account. So make sure you remember, guys, I will say this, remember to do your faction wars. If you can farm a high stage, or ideally this top stage, stage 21 in faction crypts, those give a lot of points. Don't forget that. And then also don't forget that your Great Hall gives a good amount of points, so you go ahead and use your tokens there. I personally pretty much never spend unless I'm just absolutely fed up with some area and I want to get some more stats. I'll never spend Great Hall tokens unless it's a CVC. Luckily, this one's not personal rewards because I feel like we just had a CVC, and this one feels like it's kind of jumping on us before we even had a chance to breathe with resources, especially considering the fact this is in the middle of a damn Titan event that immediately followed a fusion. So anyway, they're vying for our resources real hard in the game right now. But yeah, remember the Great Hall tokens. And then another thing that may be a nice tip for people is don't forget the forge, man. If you have some legendary mats, it does not matter. As far as I know, all the sets are the same. So, if it's a bad set or you just end up getting no pieces, it's still a win because you get really good points if you continuously save up your mats like I do and you just burn a ton for CVC. You'll actually get thousands of points. I don't know if you can go as high as tens of thousands, but I think it's possible if you have a good stash of mats. And then if it's all crap gear, guess what? tons of silver. So then you can upgrade your good gear that you're getting from dungeons or whatever. But it won't all be crap. But, you know, I know, like, for me, resilience just is kind of a useless set at this point. Like, honestly, it's just really underwhelming. So that's just kind of like a piggy bank for me, to be honest. It's just holding my silver. But then if I wait and I forge all the stuff, which 99% of it I'm going to break into silver anyway, but if I forge it during the CVC, it gives me a ton of points. So that's just kind of where I'm at right now, trying to give you guys a recap. I'll try to get this posted probably tomorrow. It's Tuesday today, so I don't want obviously to have this delayed, because then the whole events thing is going to be different. It's probably not going to go out today, but that'll give you guys hopefully a little bit of, you know, just like I said, finger on the pulse for my account. Hopefully that's enjoyable. Please let me know in the comments below. And yeah, a little bit of information on where I'm at for the events as pretty much the average player that does not have very much money at all to spend on the game. Obviously not free to play, but like I said, there's a difference, and I pay some and I buy the gym pack and I, you know, get sucked into a elite pass like He-Man versus somebody who just spends and is a real Kraken. So anyway, guys, if you enjoyed the video, likes, subscribes, comments, shares greatly boost the channel. We're at that point where we're growing a little bit, but we need more exposure. So I would really appreciate any support. It's free and it really helps the channel. Thank you guys so much. And finally, if you're a new player or you're considering ditching the current account or adding an alternate account to your raid sphere, there's a link in the description below where you can get my 2 favorite epic champions for new players with the new account if you open it through that link. Now, I have a video going through this. I'll try to put that on a card now. If you do this, you need to do it on a computer. It's not going to work on mobile. It will just kind of reroute to your raid, and it will potentially open a new account, but it's not the link's not going to work because it's going to know that you already had raid installed. And for some freaking reason, Plarium hasn't adjusted that, because Plarium knows we use multiple accounts. But if you do it on a computer, you can even have the launcher already installed, and the executable file will send information to your launcher, and it does actually work. It opens a new account, but it opens it through that link, and those champions are tied to it. You get Ugo as soon as you're done with the tutorial, and you get Tagore by level 15, and I go over in a different video, which I'll also try to card here, how you can get Tagore in like an hour. Like, getting to level 15 is so easy. So that's just a little quick PSA for new players or people potentially wanting to start a new account or a secondary account, or, you know, your 5th account, whatever you want, you do you. That link is in the description below, and it actually helps the channel if you guys sign up to that link, and it legitimately has what I consider to be the 2 best epic champions in the game for starting Raid Shadow Legends in 2025. Thank you guys so much. I've been Vamp, and this has been a Raid Shadow Legends video. Have fun in the event. Kick ass in CVC. Maybe not too much ass if your clan is trying to sandbag, but I'll catch you guys in the next video. Happy raiding.